Welcome, Cancer and Cancer Cross Watchers, to your love reading for December 2023. So we have overall energy here, and then we're going to look at what each of you is thinking and feeling about the other person and the relationship and actions or intentions towards each other. So, okay. So we have the 10 of Pentacles and 8 of Pentacles reversed for the overall situation. And in your headspace, we have the Devil. I feel like there's a certain amount of preoccupation. It's almost like you may be questioning not quite your sanity, but it's almost like feels like you're wondering not what went wrong. It just feels like you're preoccupied with something here, and that level of preoccupation is what's making you be like, what's really going on? It's almost like somebody might feel like someone's put like some sort of the High Priest. I was just about to say like a love spell or something. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have any experience with that at all. So I don't know much about it. If you do and you'd like to share, please put it in the comments. Then we have the Page of Wands reversed. 7 of Swords. We have the Star. Your person feels betrayed by you. They feel like you should have protected them. But it feels like that's coming from like, I almost want to say like it doesn't have anything to do with you actually, if that makes sense. So we have the 7 of Pentacles at the bottom, and then we have Strength for this person's intentions. So, I feel like it's almost like they felt that you would take their side. You know what it kind of feels like? It feels like somebody got themselves in trouble, and that trouble is unrelated and has nothing to do with you, but they're looking to you. It's like they bit off more than they can chew. They got involved with something that was way out of their depth. It's almost like somebody was talking a lot of noise to someone else when they shouldn't have been, thinking that someone else was going to have their back, someone was going to kind of come in and take care of things. And when that doesn't happen, they're kind of, it's almost like a little indignant that you're not coming in. I think we're going to pull a clarifier on this Star here. So here's, sometimes people come into your life and it's an experience that actually can be very hurtful, but it's the catalyst for some like very necessary growth or change. I think that's what's happening with this person right now. It feels like this person will like cause a chaotic situation, and then it's almost like they get too big for their britches or something like that. I don't think that's the right term, but it's like they maybe get into I'm not trying to be mean to this person, okay, but it's like when they get into the heat of the moment, they say things that they really shouldn't, that they may have enough wisdom to not say outside of that situation, but when they get gassed up, when they get fired up, they might talk a bit too much. And I feel it doesn't mean that they're telling secrets. It just means like they talk so much crap to people that they take it too far. They say certain things that are not acceptable to say, right? And I feel like to a certain extent they do that. I feel like that's how they got attention, either with someone in a connection with somebody else or when they were younger. It's like that was when they got attention. When the proverbial shiz hit the fan, that was when someone kind of came swooping in and they felt like protected and cared for. And I feel like that may be something that they are unknowingly doing. It doesn't feel like they're doing it on purpose. it feels like they get themselves in those situations because somebody always came in and saved them. They didn't have to deal with the consequences of what they were saying to people. And I feel like they do now. And they're looking at you like, how could, it's like part of them is looking at you like, aren't you going to come? And the other part of them is like, but this is my fault. Truly. You know what I mean? It's like, so they do have this certain, this is their whatever mechanism they have. I don't know if it would be a coping mechanism. I don't know what it would be called. I'm not, I'm not a psychologist. But it feels like, while they may be having this internal conflict, they're not going to show you that that's how they're feeling. Like this guy literally, or this person, I don't know what gender they are, their face is literally covered, right? And it's usually in most decks, it is someone that presents as female. Anyway, I'm rambling. There's someone like their actual current state is blocked, or at least they are blocking it from being communicated. It's like they want to present with this strength. They don't want to be seen as someone that is weak. They don't want to be seen as someone where people can like penetrate the force the force field surrounding them type deal. It's like they want to pretend like they're totally unbothered by what's happening. They want to pretend like it's not getting to them. But I feel like you're looking at them like there's no way that this isn't getting to you, right? It's like there's no way that this isn't somehow affecting you. I do feel like it's honestly, I feel kind of blessed to be able to do, I mean, obviously I'm blessed to do these readings anyway, but there's something really unique here. It's like a lot of readings will talk about somebody that they have this sort of like dysfunctional mechanism, but they're not willing to see it, or they're not willing to da-da-da-da-da. And this person is like, oh, dang, I gotta fix that. Like, it's so, I don't know why it feels like rewarding as a reader to be able to read something like that. It does not feel like this person wants to expose that to anybody, that they do this or do that. But I feel like whatever they've been doing, it's almost like they're kind of ashamed of what their younger self did. And it doesn't mean younger like years. It could have been like hours, days, weeks ago, right? It's younger like the version of them that didn't have the wisdom that they're learning in this situation. It's like they are a bit embarrassed. I feel like it's like this lion here. Okay. So the strength card literally talks about the lion being those like baser kind of impulsive urges and getting control over them. And usually in the strength card, it is a person that is like forcing the lion's mouth to close, right? They're like forcing themselves to control that part of themselves. I know I said themselves a lot. But here, that's not what's happening. Here, the lion is like sitting, like it's more like they've gotten to a place where they don't want to do this thing anymore. I mean, they're still gonna let's be honest. It doesn't mean that fire is gone. It just means that their impulsive urges and their higher functioning they're on the same wavelength. And it's almost like, and if this lion was ever to be let go, it would be because it would be like there's still a certain amount of control there, right? They're not going to get to a place where they're completely out of control and just kind of wiling out sort of thing. That makes me like, that's just kind of nice to hear. Okay. So we do have the devil over here, which talks about kind of toxicity and obsession and all that sort of stuff. And the cards were saying earlier that you feel kind of obsessed, but I feel like you're going to feel that lifting. You're going to feel like you're getting back. Dang it. I dropped the card. Hold on. Okay. So it feels like you're going to be going from like this energy almost feeling like foggy to this energy here. It's like this almost feeling like obsessive sort of thing. Your typical Cancerian energy is going to be making a welcome return, right? It's like the higher version of you that it's almost like this part of you is just kind of sitting, waiting patiently for the overthinking to step aside or to stop. It may not be overthinking, okay? It's not to call you out or anything. It's just the energetics of it. So whatever the preoccupation was, I feel like it's almost like you kind of snap back into being yourself and you remember that that's not what you're going to do. That's kind of what it feels like. So I think we are going to pull one for the, so we have 3. Dang. With the, on the devil, we have the Ace of Cups, 6 of Cups, and Ace of Wands. I feel like you may have wanted something to go to the next level, whatever that next level would be for you. And I feel like when you see that this person is like growing and evolving and that sort of thing, I feel like you're looking at them like, nah, it's not the time. I feel this is kind of may not be the actual situation, it's the energetics of it, but I feel like you were looking at the situation with this person, waiting for certain things to clear up so that the two of you could kind of pursue something or take it to the next level. And I feel like you end up seeing that this person, it's almost like I feel like you're going to start leaning into your intuition to figure out what's going on, to figure out like if and when the possibility for that may ever present itself. But I've maybe that kind of like feeling like proud, or like when I was talking about this person earlier and I was saying like, oh, there's a real sense of like pride in what's happening. And I think that might have been yours, because that's kind of exactly what I'm picking up here from this energy here, right? It's like, even if, regardless of your influence on this person, which I think you're not willing to give yourself as much credit as you deserve, but I digress. We're not going to dive headfirst into that right now. I feel like you're so proud of the work that they've done and what they're doing. It's like, it feels like the type of energy where you've had to come out of some stuff like this yourself, and seeing them do what they're doing. It's like watching someone, for example, let's say you're having a conversation with somebody and you know that they need to see something about themselves, but you're trying to like ask questions instead of telling them, and try to like, tease it out of them and try to figure out what's holding it back. I feel like that's kind of what you did here, and that's why you're not willing to give yourself enough credit, because of course they're the one that's doing the work, but you still lit the path for them. I hope you can give at least yourself that credit, because you did. And I feel like you were more of a guide than you think. I feel like you may be somebody that, like, people in your family or like people around you really put a lot of low expectations on you. Like, people really expect that sucks. I feel like there's more people around you that expect the worst from you than there are people that expect good from you. And I feel like when you find people that expect good, like this person, it feels like that's the word I was looking for, rewarding. It feels like that's where that really rewarding feeling comes from, because it's like, that's when you're doing the things that you know that you're capable of, it's like in those things, it's like you proving to yourself that you are who you kind of sort of think you are, as opposed to who everybody else keeps trying to pressure you into believing that you are. And that doesn't mean that you don't have a strong sense of self, so on and so forth, okay? It feels like that it's like if you've been conditioned for years or decades that you're not this, you're not capable of this, and then you realize that you are, and it's almost like you may have realized that you were capable of it without realizing it because you did it first, and then you looked back and you're like, oh, hey, wait a minute. I think I just did that. It's that type of a thing. So it's almost like it feels like there's a certain amount of like very low self-esteem. Like you saw yourself as everybody, like everyone tried to grind you into a fine dust. And to a certain extent, especially if it's been since you were young, they were effective in doing so. But because you're breaking through that, it's like it's a little bit at a time. I'm going to be honest, I still feel like you may be seeing some good things about yourself. I feel like you're still really selling yourself short, though. I think part of you knows that, but you're just maybe not. It's like, even when I say that, if you and I were having an actual conversation together and I said that, you'd be like, yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but you don't quite believe it yet. It's almost like in believing it, then it's almost like, well, then why did all of this happen? Why were these people so horrible to me if I am good? And I don't have an answer for you. In my experience, I feel like I'm going to cry. In my experience, or from what I've seen, it's that whatever toxicity they spewed at you, the venom that came from them and landed on you, it came in your direction, but it wasn't because of you. It wasn't because you did this or you did that. When somebody acts that way, even when a group of people all try to like oppress and suppress somebody, it's like scapegoating somebody, right? It's like it's easier to put all the problems on this person's shoulders, and then we don't have to change. That person has to change. That person's a problem. It's all their fault. If they didn't do this, then I wouldn't have done this, right? It's like, even if you did A and then I did B, I'm still responsible for having done B. You didn't make that choice for me. I did. And that's where it's like people are, maybe you felt almost like buried sometimes in it. And it's because everybody put the responsibility for their decisions on your shoulders when it didn't belong there. And this whole process is you seeing that none of that is something that you are responsible for. So we have the Page of Wands reversed. This person upright looks a little, it's just a bit of a comical card to me, I find. I feel like you're not going to be, this might sound strange. It feels like there's such a freedom that you get from realizing that whatever's going on here, whatever's going on in this person's life, it's not your responsibility to fix, right? It's like, of course, if this person asked for help, so on and so forth, but I feel like you know that this is somebody that they really like to stand on their own 2 feet, and they wouldn't, it's like you don't really expect them to ask for help because it's not that the two of you don't have that type of a connection. It's just, it's not to the point where they would need it, where they would need to kind of confide in you about it. I hope this is making sense. This might be sorry, it might be like, I almost said it might be specific, but I don't think that's right either. I hope it's making sense to those of you that it's resonating for. So, I think we will pull one more card. I'm just looking at which deck we're going to use. Okay. Can we get one more card? I'm just going to make sure it's upright. Yes, it is. One more card. Dun 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 dun. Sorry. So we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck and the Magician here. So the Magician, of course, that's that manifestation card. And I feel like you may almost feel, I feel like you're going to meet someone who they appear to be like a younger version of you. And let me flesh that out a little bit. Like, whoever you were when you were younger, I feel like you meet somebody that has those same qualities. And what's I really love is that in meeting them, you kind of like, you genuinely like this person. And it's almost like, and if you had some really um, negative perspectives of yourself that were put on you by people scapegoating you, I feel like you're going to see that actually you weren't ever really as bad as they made it seem. And I'm hearing this like, it's one of those moments where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I guess I wasn't that bad," and you kind of wipe a few tears away. And I'm not saying that to be diminutive at all. It just feels like it's a really emotional experience. And I feel like from that, there's this kind of warm feeling of self-love that starts to kind of brew that it's like you can feel it. So I think I'll leave it there, Cancer. That's lovely. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will be thinking of you, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.